All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. We're about an hour away from kickoff here. Very exciting times. I know everybody's excited. I know everybody's a little nervous. I know everybody's just ready to go see what this team has for us. And a few minutes ago, we did get the inactive list for both teams. So let's take a look at what we got here. Nothing too shocking, nothing too surprising, but there are some notable things going on here on let's say both sides. Let's say both sides. Why not? I mean, there's a little bit of stuff going on here that could adjust people's expectations for this game a little bit. So we have the Seahawks inactive list from Greg Bell here. And as you can see, most of it is as expected. Guys like Jared Ivey, who are usually here every week, he is here. Milrow is here. He's the emergency third quarterback. So mostly as expected. All right, guys, before we go any further into this video, let's take a minute so I can tell you about my friends over at Sleeper. If you're not using Sleeper this year for daily fantasy, then you are missing out. Download the app and get ready to have more fun with sports this year. Make all kinds of picks on over-unders. Get on over there. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever your sports fancy is. I've got some picks going for this week, the conference championship games. I got the over on Cooper Kupp. 30.5 receiving yards. I got Ken Walker scoring an anytime touchdown. I got Mevis over on the Rams kicking at least 2 field goals. And I got Drake May with the under on 227 passing yards. So get on over to Sleeper. Use promo code SBN, that is SBN, to get a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 and go have more fun with sports this year. All right, so Christian Haynes also inactive for this game, which means this team apparently likes Mason Richmond more than they like Christian Haynes at this point, which is not good for Haynes. Remember, Cable Dew is on injured reserve now. So yeah, Christian Haynes, your time might be up, man. Your time might be up at that point. I know that Richmond can maybe do some tackle stuff as well, and that gives them extra value, but not a good sign that we're deciding to just kind of take the chance at guard. Amari Kite is inactive as well, which is not surprising because he was doubtful after Friday's practice. So there will be no Amari Kite this week. But you may have noticed no Josh Jones on this list. So Josh Jones, that's the big one to me. That's the one I really wanted to see today. Josh Jones is active. So in the event that we need him, we can call on Josh Jones. That's big to me. We needed that security blanket just in case. Also inactive is Velez Jones Jr. He was called up from the practice squad, but I guess they saw what they needed from Halani and decided they didn't really need him. And it is important to note, sometimes teams will call players up from the practice squad for financial reasons and then still deactivate them for the game. It's like a reward for players that have been there for you for a while and who have been guys who you've been able to depend on during the season. You get them a little bit of a pay bump for the game they get activated for, even if they're not activated. So the two really interesting things here would be Robbie Oots, inactive, as is Elijah Arroyo. Now, Oots, working through a neck injury, was questionable. Doesn't really surprise me. So he is not going to be available, which, hey, it's nice to have a true fullback out there, but Oots wasn't, until really the last game or so, really wasn't playing that well. There were 1 or 2 games at the end of the year where he really started, it seemed like he was starting to get it, but for the most part this year, he's just been kind of out there learning on the fly, which it's understandable, but I don't think he was a huge part of the plan at this point either. Oots is going to be something for next year, more so than anything this year. And the question is, how much do we go to I formation and 2-back personnel with Brady Russell, with maybe AJ Barner lining up at fullback? Maybe we got Saubert lining up at fullback a little bit. That's going to be kind of interesting. And Elijah Arroyo also inactive. Obviously not a health issue. Obviously this is just a thing where Arroyo, he just kind of feels like, it just feels like we don't really have a plan for him and we don't feel like he's a big enough part of what we're doing to justify giving him a roster spot over, a third running back right now. We need that third running back just in case because of the Charbonnet injury. We just feel like we need other players right now. And Arroyo, while he does present some mismatch advantages and he can do some things that other players on this team cannot do, guys like Barner, guys like Saubert, those guys are not very athletic. Um, you can understand why they just don't feel like they have a big role for him at the moment. Okay, so that is the Seahawks side of things. That is what's going on here. Again, pretty normal. Not having Oots kind of hurts, but Arroyo is clearly inactive by choice. Same with Velez Jones. So it's not like we're really down anybody that we really wish we had. All right, the Rams side, again, relatively straightforward. Byron Young active. That was kind of the big one to keep an eye out for, which is what was expected. That was anticipated that he would be available. If they didn't have him, that's a massive deal. Obviously, you're talking about your best pass rusher this year. The inactive list they did post included Tutu Atwell. Very notable there. Remember, they gave that guy a bunch of money in the offseason. What was it, like a 3-year, $30 million deal, and he's done nothing for them, and now he's a healthy scratch for the NFC title game. Definitely not what they signed up for. And remember, they used a second-round pick on that guy, and he is a speed demon. It's kind of weird that they can't figure out how to use him at least as a distraction. Darion Kendrick, former Seahawk earlier this year, also inactive. So they must trust that their cornerback depth is going to at least hold up somewhat. Obviously, Kendrick, very limited player physically, but very much a player that you would have expected the Rams to lean on if they felt like they weren't going to be able to trust Emmanuel Forbes today. Darquez Hunter, backup running back. Nick Vannett, another former Seahawk. Bo Limmer, one of their backup interior offensive linemen. And Murchison, one of the guys they called up from the practice squad yesterday, also inactive. So again, just kind of getting called up for financial purposes, not actually going to be able to play in this game. And Stetson Bennett is the emergency quarterback, and that is, as they say, that. So we have all the information we need for today's game pretty much at this point, guys. We know who's going to play. We know who's going to not play. We just got to go play a game. And we got kickoff in a little less than an hour now. I'm going to go watch the fourth quarter of this Denver-New England game, see what's up in the AFC. But I'm ready to go, man. I am ready to go. And the next time you see me, unless something monstrous happens in this game to where I feel like I have to make a mid-game video, which I don't want to completely rule out, but I haven't done that in a very long time. Next time you see me, we're either going to be Super Bowl bound or headed for the offseason. So buckle up. It's a nervous moment for sure, but it's also an exciting moment. It's been such a fun year. It's been such an exciting year for me to do this on YouTube. And I hope it doesn't end today. But if it does, I will be here regardless. I'll be on Bleacher Report, remember, right after the game. Then YouTube video goes live after that, and then I'll stream later on YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube, and we'll talk about whatever there is to talk about. But I'm ready to go, and I just hope the season doesn't end today. See you guys later. Go Hawks.